Welcome, Paul.
Thank you.
So, Paul, fraudulent mortgages got you on the show, and this is something that you haven't been dealing with just the last 24 hours. It's been 6 years, I believe is what you said?
6 to 8 years, roughly.
So can you tell us, the audience, what happened in the beginning?
When I got the mortgages about 8 years ago, there was something that was added to the mortgages called negative amortization, which was never explained to me. It was something that was totally hidden, and the mortgages, for me, they were quite expensive, and they kept getting more expensive. And basically, the mortgages, instead of them going down as you're paying off the principal balance, they went up. Every month there was money added to it, which was called negative amortization, in which the bank did not want to do anything about.
Of course, because that's how they make their money.
Well, it's a scam. It's fraud, actually.
Okay, so tell us a little more about... Go ahead, can you continue on that?
Basically what happened was, I tried to get my 2 loans modified through the bank on my own, and they kept turning me down for different reasons. After that, I hired an attorney for $3,000 out of Long Beach, California to get me modified. Thinking that through maybe an attorney would be easier. We kept getting turned down several different ways. The bank kept continuing to lie and lie and lie. After that, I asked the attorney if he'd be willing to file a lawsuit against the bank, and he refused. So then I went outside to find a different attorney, and I found someone to take on the lawsuit for $15,000. And we went to court, and Chase Bank hired their own attorneys to go against me, and I eventually lost the case.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, so...
That sounds like a headache and a migraine and probably the flu all twisted together.
$18,000 down the drain.
Oh, only 18 though, not 20.
Really? Horrible.
Sometimes you have to make a light joke about really crappy situations. Now, you were also saying in your explanation that they turned you down. A first lawyer had turned you down. You were modifying a loan with them.
Correct.
Now, why did they deny the modifications?
The bank just kept on changing the reasons. I don't remember.
So what were some of them?
I don't remember all the technicalities, but like one thing they would say, like, they never received the paperwork, which was not even true. They used that line with them. They used it with me when I tried to file the loan modifications, and other things had to do with the value of the property. They just kept changing their excuses over and over and over, and they didn't want to work with me.
Sounded like they just wanted you to go away.
They didn't want to work with me. Period.
They just wanted you to go away, disappear.
Basically.
You're a peon, we're a corporation, bye-bye.
Basically.
Another headache. Have you ever felt like this? Have you dealt with this? I'm sure a lot of you out there have. Keep watching. Now, you said, again, that you've been going through this since 2005.
Approximately.
2006. And through those years, we're going to recapture here. You went through the lawyers, you tried to do modification loans. You constantly denied, constantly denied.
Correct.
Then they refused to work with you even in a mediation. So you went and you hired a lawyer.
To go to court against the bank.
Now, when you first brought this case to that lawyer, what did he say? Was he uncertain about it? Did he want to do research, or was he like, yes, I'm gonna...
The second lawyer, right? The second.
Yes. The second.
Well, I gave him a lot of information, and yeah, he did some research. He had questions about my mortgage statements, about different things, which I supplied, and he developed a case. I mean, the case is actually available on the internet, on the Superior Court website. You can read up all about it, and it's quite a big case, several pages. And
okay.
Yeah, so when we went, well, I didn't go to court with him, but when he went to court, the judge kept asking him to modify the complaint, to change things around. It kept going back and forth with something called demurs and responses, and basically, you know, I ended up losing the case. And the bank also blackmailed me, by the way. They said in writing that if I was willing to dismiss the case with prejudice, then they would consider a modification. They didn't guarantee or promise modification. Consider, it was a game plan for me just to dismiss the case and lose. But anyway, I lost either way. It didn't matter. I still lost because they were never going to work with me. To this day, they still haven't worked with me.
And yet you had a lawyer that you paid for out of your own pocket.
$15,000
after losing the $18,000.
No, after losing $3,000.
Oh, after losing $3,000.
First lawyer was $3,000. Second one was $15,000. Total was $18,000.
I see. Okay. So you're out $18,000. You're stuck banking with a bank that won't work with you. A bank that blackmailed you. Wow. I think that's more than a migraine and the flu.
It is. It is. It's almost like a health condition, isn't it?
It is.
Yeah.
And with some people, it would be a health condition. And many people do suffer this. It's unfortunate. So today, you're on the show. Paul, what would you like the public to know now, at this point, with where you're at, as far as your situation?
Well, not to give up. If you can, have thick skin like me and just try to fight as far as you can. I mean, I did try to go through the legal system, and obviously I was not successful, but I have one more idea that I'd like to try, which I think will work. I can't guarantee it, but it's definitely a shot.
Okay, so you have this idea. So, do you want to hear the idea? Go ahead.
Okay. I'm a member of a private website which is for networking. It's like LinkedIn, but it's it's a little bit different. It has email addresses, phone numbers, contacts of most corporations in the United States, Canada, and a few other countries in the world, and it gives me access to email to top executives of almost any corporation. And I have a lot of emails of a lot of different government agencies, and I believe that once I send out my emails to all these companies by the thousands, I believe that there will be a few people out there that can intervene and help me solve this problem with the bank in terms of either getting loan modified or getting a principal reduction on the properties. I believe there is hope. If there's no hope with this, then there's no hope, period.
Let's hope that's not true. So, Paul, say these banks came through and they said, we'd like to work with you.
Oh, it would be great. It would be a blessing.
And they wanted to modify everything.
Oh, it would be like, wow.
So what would you expect in that modification?
Oh, well, like what they're supposed to be doing, like they're supposed to be reworking the numbers. So, let's say you're paying $1,500 per month. You may end up paying $1,200 a month or $1,000 a month. And maybe, this would get paid in full within 15 years. And maybe the negative amortization will be reversed also in this modification. Mm-hmm. So I'd like to, you know what I mean? So how would you feel if they did a modification where they reversed the negative amortization, but that's all they did? Well, you know what? I guess as we say, it's better than nothing, right? Something is better than nothing as long as it's positive. What about any payment for losing money or the emotional and financial distress that you've gone through in the last 6-7 years? Well, when we went to court, we tried to get all that when we sued the bank and got nothing, so I guess that's kind of like down the drain unless the bank wants to give me anything, but I doubt it. So you don't think it'll happen, but what you're saying then is if the bank could give you a modification where they reverse the negative amortization. Correct. And perhaps gave a stipend or a fee of replacing that money that was lost in those 6 years, as well as some extra money for financial emotional damage, you'd be okay with that? It'd be great. So maybe 10 grand. Whatever. Yeah. Or even 20. Let's say 20 grand. 20 grand. I wish, but it would be nice. Yeah, I would definitely. Well, I don't think a corporation that has many clients that are business to business and has personal and small businesses I don't think 20 grand is all that much. What do you think? Well, Paul, thank you so much for joining us this evening, and I wish you a lot of luck. Thank you.
And I'm sure we'll see you back to give an update on your situation.
There will be.
All right.
For sure. Thank you.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you.